Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris and I just got done watching Happy Death Day to You. With Happy Death Day to You, it follows the character of Tree once again, thinking that she's done with the killer in her life, the time loop is over, she can move on to the next day. Something definitely unexpected occurs where she is brought back to the first movie, only with a special twist. That's all pretty much it without giving any spoilers to you guys. Now I have to admit, with the first Happy Death Day, I did not really give it a positive review. That's because I went in expecting a horror movie, expecting Groundhog's Day meets Scream. That sounds pretty cool, right? But what instead I got is a comedy-heavy horror film, which is fine. There are some, but very rare, good horror comedies. Evil Dead 2. But for every Evil Dead 2, we have a million Seed of Chuckies. So I was kind of let down with that, but the movie was still fun and enjoyable, entertaining. And with that expectation now in my mind, that just expect a fun movie, I think I for sure enjoyed the movie better by having that mindset. And I strongly encourage you, if you're into this franchise for the horror aspect, the slasher part of it, you're honestly gonna have to toss that out the window, forget about that, because honestly, this franchise no longer is horror related in my opinion. The babyface killer in this movie to me becomes a minor annoyance. The best way to put it to you, this killer in the movie is as big of a threat as Swiper the Fox in an episode of Dora the Explorer. This movie decides to tackle a much bigger subject, go very sci-fi with their plot and overall premise of the movie, trying to explain more of why she's able to relive the same day over and over, who might be responsible for it, new ways to stop it, alternate realities. Jessica Roth, who returns as the main character Tree, definitely gives a great performance. I love her in this movie. There's not really a problem with the cast in this film. In fact, their performances bring this movie to a higher level. They even introduce a heavily emotional part to this movie that I wasn't expecting at all, that definitely worked and served as a good conflict for the movie. I also have to applaud it for how crazy and out there they went with the premise and plot for the second film, because they could have easily, without a doubt, made the exact same movie just with slight tweaks. And while they try and touch on that a little bit, there's still a much grander thing going on that you're like, okay, this isn't what I was expecting and I can't predict what's going to happen at all. And that leads to the film being a lot more entertaining in my opinion. But that's really my suggestion when you go to watch this movie, is just throw away that expectation. If you enjoyed the first movie, I think you'll definitely enjoy the second one. If you did not like the first Happy Death Day, you're not gonna like the second one at all. Other than that nitpick of straying away from being a horror slasher film, my other gripe with the movie is it gets very silly and idiotic at times. I mean, there's even an exact scene to sum up how idiotic this movie gets. There's basically a scene where a character pretends to be blind, French, and that goes on for what feels like forever to me, along with some slight music choices and tone shifts in the movie. For Happy Death Day to You, I'm gonna give action 2 stars. There's actually less chasing between a victim and a killer in this movie. It really goes more focused towards sci-fi and dialogue based. Comedy in the film, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. Like I said, sometimes it is fun and entertaining, but other times it crosses that line of silly and idiotic. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give 2.5 stars because while I appreciate them not just making a rehash of the first movie, the overall plot where they really go out there doesn't always make sense, but definite props for including an emotional element in this movie. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give it 1 star because for being branded as a horror movie, very little of it in it. And suspense of the film, I'm gonna give 2 stars. I thought this was actually gonna be a lot more horror based because the movie definitely starts out that way and has some cool horror scenes that made me think, all right, this is going where I want it to go. And then it takes a complete 180 turn. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm going to give it a C-. And critically, I'm going to give it a C+. For Happy Death Day, if you're looking for something fun to watch, I suggest you watch this in theaters. But that's honestly just my opinion on the film, guys. Let me know what you thought about Happy Death Day to You if you got around to watching it. Do you like them straying away from the horror element and going straight sci-fi comedy with it? Or do you wish they kept the roots of the film horror-based and made it more of Groundhog Day meets Scream? Anything and everything, love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.